Straight out the boot room to Wembley, our second home. We come to conquer, no we never walk alone. We dominate, the cream of the crop, drawing all our strength from the roar of the cop. It's all for one, and one for all. Pass a move, we're talking total football. Here we go again, Roy's red machine. Liverpool, the greatest team the world has ever seen. Pass a move, it's the Liverpool crew. Pass a move, it's the Liverpool crew. Pass a move, 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 it's the Liverpool crew.
Hello and welcome back to the Liverpool Groove. Disappointing first half has really cost us against Forest the other night. The first half was just diabolical, wasn't it? Which has kind of been the story for the last few weeks. I don't think it's been quite that bad. But yeah, I mean, just that first half really killed us. Disappointing result as a result of that, just because I think at the end we deserved to win. Felt like only one team wanted to win that game in the end. They didn't really offer much second half. They were desperate to hang on for the 1-0. And obviously change got made. We scored the goal and just one of them. And we might look back on it being a good point game, but right now it feels like 2 points dropped.
It's hard because the performance in the first half was awful. It looked so lackluster. We looked so content in just having the ball in areas that we couldn't create anything. Like, I know we had a few shots, but they were all half chances, like from outside the box and just whacks over the bar and stuff. There's probably one good chance in the first half. Not Forest, have just shown themselves for what they are. They're a really good counter-attacking side. They don't really care if they're entertained or not at all. They're quite happy to let the opponents have the ball and then hit you in dangerous areas, and that's what they done. They had one attack, scored. Thought Alisson should have saved it again. That's probably about the third goal that's gone in past him since he's been back that he could have done better for. Positioning looked wrong as well, a bit too close to the near post. So yeah, I think all in all, based on the first half, I'd have screamed and begged for a point at half time. I'd have done anything for a point. I didn't see where a goal was coming from based on the first half performance. Players that we were screaming out for, like Sobersley and that to start, just wasn't at it at all. He was just well behind the pace. He looked like he just played international duty and then come in. Fucked, but again, they're capable of turning it around in the second half. And that's what annoys me most. I think I've said it a few times. The fact that we're so happy to just be cautious and a bit boring for 45 minutes, and then we can turn it on and then turn it off as we please. I don't know why we don't do that earlier in the game and try and kill the game and then relax. We relax too early, and we're just not at this moment in time. I don't think we're brave enough. I think we're just a bit too cautious, and it is costing us points.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Forest in the first half. They done well to limit us to long shots, really, which were shite. Everything we were doing in that first half was shite, really. But I'm glad you brought that up about Alisson. It's been a bit of a discussion online this week. We touched on it a bit last episode. I think it was maybe even one of the questions we got. I can't quite remember, but we touched on it last time. And again, as soon as that went in, I was saying to myself, should he have done better there? And I've got to probably agree with you. I think he probably should have done better. I don't know, it just looked like he was a bit slow getting down to it again. But I seen a stat, like, since he's come back in, he's the worst performing keeper in terms of goals prevented in the league. Now, you go back to not last season, the season before, he was top of that by a country mile. You know what I mean? So, is it enough to say it's a drop off? I don't think so. But it's certainly not the form and the he's not being the hero we used to him being kind of for us, and that's on the defence as well. We shouldn't have to be relying on Alisson to bail us out all the time, but in the times where we need him, it's not happening at the minute.
Well, that was the beauty of having Alisson, and that's why everyone said Alisson has to come straight back in once he's fit, because when the defence did fuck up, you could rely on Alisson better to claw it out the shit. I think even before Alisson come back in, we were relying on Kelleher. Kelleher was making one-on-one saves and winning us points, getting us over the line, making big saves. The only issue he had was that Newcastle. It wasn't even a mistake. It was just poor judgment. And I don't even think that's cost him his place. I think Alisson was always Arnie's favourite, and he was coming straight back into the fold. And I think that's why I did discuss it and I said there was no need to change Kelleher. A man who's full of confidence, playing very well, and hasn't cost us anything. And then he put Alisson straight back into the team after that one mistake, and I just don't think he's at it. It's hard as well, lad. He hasn't got really chance to be match fit. He's not running. You know what I mean? He's stood in a goal. We don't really concede many chances, and it just looks like we've said it before. When you're not conceding loads of chances and to be able to pull off them world-class saves when you're cold and rusty, it's hard to do. I don't think he's sped back the way we'd expect.
Yeah.
He hasn't been the same Alisson. He's been slower getting down. He's been slower, like releasing the ball. His all-round game hasn't been the same as what we expect. But if that was a striker coming back in and easing him in, you'd say the same. He's a little bit slower. His passing's off. His performance is off because he's not match fit and he's rusty. So you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully he starts turning it around.
Would you bring Kelleher back in for a game or two? Maybe, like, obviously I know we played the FA Cup game, but would you even consider bringing him in for Saturday, say?
It's hard, lad, because I think the one place you don't want to drop confidence is goalkeeper, and I think Kelleher's, like, his confidence should be shot because he's done next to nothing wrong over the course of most of the season and still being took out the side. So I don't know where he's going to be at in his head. If I was him, I'd be looking for a move now, to be honest, because I think the treatment of him, considering how well he's played and how much he's kept us in games, I'd be looking for a move because he's obviously not the favourite. So I don't think taking Alisson out benefits anyone because I don't know how good Kelleher's going to be if he comes in, and I think it'd knock Alisson's confidence as well. So got to I think another 3 games, if we concede stupid goals against the next 3 opponents, then you've got to look at it because it's not real quality we're up against. There's a good player here and there, but it's not Real Madrid, it's not Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea. That way they can say it's up a little bit. If we concede stupid goals against any of these next 3, then I think you do have to question the position and look to make a change.
Yeah, I agree. It's just I said it last time. It's weird talking about this kind of thing with Alisson because of what we know he's like and what he has been like for us, and I think that's probably part of the problem. Our expectations for him are like through the roof. That when he isn't making as many saves as we expect, we think he's, obviously, I mean, you get the divvies online saying he's washed and he's finished and all stuff like that, and they're just not worth a carry. They're not worth thinking about. But, like, you're just not expecting to have these conversations about someone like him, are you? Going on to their goal, I think, poured all around. I think Salah in that initial duel, which I didn't actually really get onto on the day, I'll be honest, I've seen it today. Salah in the initial duel to lose the ball, awful. But that's what Salah's never going to go in for a 50-50.
To be honest, the ball should never have even been put
No, it shouldn't have been.
It all stems from Konate. Konate was a shambles again, an absolute shambles. He looked petrified again. His positioning was woeful. His passing was woeful. When he got on the ball, he just stopped the game completely dead and just held it until someone ran towards him and then he'd pass it sideways. It was dreadful. I don't know whether that was the plan to try and draw them out or whatever, but he was just dreadful. I wanted him off at half time. I wanted Quanton on because I thought he was horrific. But again, he's been rushed in. He's playing big games. It's like title deciding types of games and cup deciding games when he's been injured. So if Slot's like belief in Quanton's that low that he's going to play an injured player ahead of him, then we do need to look into the market for a centre half because that's not good. Nate is going to get injured again, especially if he's playing half injured anyway. And we're just at this moment hoping and praying Van Dijk doesn't get a knock. But yeah, in that moment, it's Konate's fault. Salah doesn't even attempt to try and get it, but it gets stolen off him from behind, doesn't it? And then it's just one pass, hand it in. Dead simple. I think the count. It was a goal before we even knew they were attacking us. It was brilliant from Nottingham Forest to take it off us that easy, play a ball and then play it in behind. One such finish, which should never have hit the net, but it has, and it's credit to Forest.
You knew what was happening as soon as they won the ball, though. I knew they were scoring immediately. Like you said, Konate, awful all game. We've said it in the past. He's sort of either Mamadou Sakho levels or he's world class, and right now he's kind of there's no in between with him, unfortunately. And we're kind of getting the worst of him at the minute. But again, like you said, I don't think it's purely his fault. I think he has been rushed back, which was a big problem we had under Klopp, I thought. But yeah, I mean, I think he's made the mistake, doing what he's done with the ball, and then he stepped out, left a big gap open at the back. Trent's not there for, I don't even know where Trent was for the goal, but I think Konate stepping out has left that big gap. Van Dijk obviously thinks it's going to get squared, and it doesn't, and it's just poor all around. But yeah, like you said, this stems from Konate. But credit to them, yeah, great to win it back. One pass and through. I mean, it shouldn't be happening, but you gotta give credit where it's due.
That's what's frustrating about our style of play as well, is that we're not like that. We're literally like 40 passes and then try and get to the edge of the box and work it through. I know like there's this talk of a fucking low block team and a deep defensive team and all that, but the best teams get through them, lad. And obviously we deserved a lot more from the game. We eventually did get through them over and over again. And on another night, you could have seen 7-1 to Liverpool. It was ridiculous. The onslaught from our attackers in the end was exactly what you want to see. But my only issue is I want to see that a little bit earlier in the game.
Yeah,
I don't want to be desperate and like chasing games and conceding goals and before we turn up. And that was the same it was like with Klopp last season. But we made the joke about it early in the season. Is that we're quite happy to go one behind because we know we're scoring 2 or 3 goals. At the moment, we don't look capable of being that dangerous on the attack. Even when we're like 1-on-1 and that, I'm still not expecting us to score. But hopefully this is our dip. If that's the last game in our dip and it's a point away to Forest, a point at home to Man United is not the worst result in the world. They played well. The games we have to do, the likes of Fulham, 10 men, we deserve to win that. Newcastle in the end, after a poor performance, we probably deserve to win that. So they're not games that are going to define your season. I think the performances merited wins in the end, but yeah, we just need to make that the last falter for the next at least couple of weeks. Got to win the next 3.
Yeah, 100%. Another position that was kind of has been spoke about throughout the season. I think people are questioning it again, especially after the sub is obviously Andy Robbo at left back. What did you think? What did you make of his performance?
I think it's hard to pile in on anyone on their own, to be honest, because the fucking lot of them was shit that first half, every single one of them. And then Robbo slips and stuff like that, and
doesn't help, does it?
But then, to be fair, he recovers and gets the ball back. So that's the difference with him and Trent, is that if that happens to Trent, he's packed it and give up. But no, the hard part for me is you can't question the work rate of the lads. It's not like they're jogging around and strutting. But sentiment aside, Robbo's really struggling this season. I said I'd give him the benefit of the doubt, and he often comes back after injury and takes him a little while, but it's taken a lot longer than usual. He has lost that yard of pace that he needed. His decision making is just not there. It's just at the minute something's up with him, and I don't know how long you can keep him in the team for when it is costing us. Every counter attack and is an issue from our defence, and more often than not, it's through Robbo.
Yeah, and I mean, I think just even like his passing has been excellent over the years, and even that's not really coming off for him. And like you say, with Robbo, it's not through wanted trying, but just everything he's trying isn't coming off at the minute. Are you confident with Tsimikas? I know there's a lot of people again who are kind of saying we don't really have a great left back at the minute. But I think for the most part, I think Tsimikas is very similar to Robertson, is it in the fact that normally it does take him a couple of games to get up to speed, but then I think once he does, he doesn't really let us down. I don't think he's as high quality as Robbo in every area. I think his passing, especially right now, is better than Robbo's. I think his delivery is a lot better than Robbo's at the minute, but I think overall, I think Robertson is still a better player. But are you confident with him coming into the squad if we do that?
Depends on the opponent, but I agree with everything you just said. Like you can't like compare them based on quality, or Robbo in his prime is just a well better player. But Tsimikas comes in, does absolutely everything right. He gets up the pitch, he can cross a ball, he can pass a ball. The only thing with him is his positioning when we are defending. Sometimes he's just too high up, and he takes a while to spin round and track back, and before you know it, they're in behind him. But the only other concern I've got with him is he's like Salif Diao when it comes to tackling. He loves to just give them stupid fouls away in dangerous areas and get a yellow card for no reason. But all in all, I think when you see Tsimikas on the pitch, you don't frown or shudder. Do you know what I mean? You know he's going to give everything. You know he's going to try everything. You know, he made up for him the other day when he got that assist, because he is like the little Greek scouser. He proper loves it. You can see how much it means to him. And sometimes, I said to someone the other day, sometimes that hard work to us outdoes talent. It could be phenomenal, whizzing up and down. Every single player has the falters, but some players are a bit arrogant and don't try. And that's all you can ask for of the players on the pitch, is that they sign their arse off. So, I know I'm long-winded, but yeah, in a nutshell, I've got no real issues with Tsimikas. I've got no real issues with Robbo being introduced into a game with half an hour to go, because I think at the moment that's probably the best thing to do, is bring him in as like a Milner to show games up, because he's capable of doing that, but he's not getting into games in his head fast enough to start them. I think he needs to watch what's going on in front of him for a bit before he comes on. I think that would be the best thing for him at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. No, I think I agree with, again, everything you just said there. I think, yeah, Tsimikas can do a job. I think he's probably is a little bit more rash than Robbo, although Robertson's been quite rash this season. But again, I think with him, it's not necessarily that he's not diving into tackles for the sake of it. I think he's messing up and he's trying to make up for them, which is making him make rash decisions. I say it's just been one of them seasons for him where just kind of nothing's really gone his way. But again, you can't doubt him, can you? Like I say, he's still only, for a defender, I know maybe not as aggressive as a player as he is in terms of his running and his energy and things like that, but he's still only 31, and you know what I mean. He's still got a good few years left in him if he's used right and if he takes care of himself. So, yeah, another body maybe there wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, admittedly. Same at centre back, same probably in midfield as well. But not gonna cry about it if it doesn't happen. Just have to wait and see.
Never have too many bodies, lad. As I say, the problem we've got is we have only got 2 left backs. So if one took a knock, you're relying on one to play the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So that's our issue in our squad, is that we have only got like limited numbers in certain areas. If one takes a knock, we're a bit goosed, because you've got to rely on them. And we've seen it before where everyone's took a knock in the same position at the same time, and you're goosed. But that's where you're lucky to have the versatile players like your Joe Gomez's and your Endos, who can just have a go anywhere, and they do it to a decent level. So, to say, I'm not going to cry about the transfer market. If there was a player absolutely available that we should be going in for, I'd expect us to go in for. Until someone tells us that someone's available in those positions, then I'm not really asked. Just got to plod on with what we've got. It would be nice to bring in a few fresh faces to give the other lads a little bit of a rest throughout the season, but it is what it is. We're doing what we're doing with the squad we've got, and you can't fault them.
Yeah, 100%. Our goal then, greatest substitution in Premier League history, greatest double substitution in Premier League history. Just wasn't like my thing was behind when I was watching it, so I was on FOTMob and I was watching it on that, and it flashed up goal, and then it went off, and I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Has it disallowed it or something? And it took ages for it to update. So by the time it actually went in on the telly, I realised it was actually given and all that. But I mean, that's what Jota can do. I think even Jota hasn't been great recently. He needed that massively. To get in between those 2 defenders, like, I mean, Murillo, I think, for Forest was brilliant. Yeah. So was the keeper, in fairness to him. But yeah, I'd say to get in between those 2 defenders like that so easily, the delivery was fantastic. Annoyingly,
first was the only good cross of the day.
Yeah, first and only good cross it turned out to be, because we didn't really do it again. Yeah, I'd say Jota needed that massively. Massive boost to his confidence, and I think he's got to start. You put it on Twitter. I think the experiment with Diaz has run its course now. It worked for a couple of games. He looked great through the middle for a couple of games, but I think now the arse end of the season, the business end where we really need to start picking up wins, you've got to go with what's tried and tested, and that's Jota through the middle.
Yeah, and again, like I've said, I love Núñez playing sometimes because he's involved in 90% of our play. Everything we do to create an attack, every press we have, he's involved. Jota's not the same, Gakpo's not the same, Diaz isn't the same. They're not involved for that long period of the game, but they can all make something happen on the day. So I wouldn't have no issue with Diaz starting out on the left and Jota and them switching throughout the game in different passages of play and that. But for me, Diaz has just been worked out through the middle. And it all stems on dragging players out of position and Diaz getting in. Jota doesn't need that. Jota's capable of taking on two men and doing a 1-2 and getting in behind through his own ability. He's a proper striker. Put the ball anywhere in the box, and if it falls to Jota, you're expecting a goal, lad. And as you've seen, unless the keeper has an absolutely fucking world-class day, which he did, Jota could have had an hat-trick, Salah could have had an hat-trick. Salah will be kicking himself. But yeah, I think it's nice that Chiesa's coming back in, Chiesa, whatever you want to call him, because I think you could do with giving Salah a little bit of a rest as well. He's having his little January dip, but again, he could have had a hat-trick the other day, and then no one would say he's having a dip. He's been absolutely unbelievable this season, but he's probably him and Van Dijk are the only two that have practically played nearly every game. So. You've got to pick up on that and say, listen, throw him in for a game, maybe Ipswich or something. Obviously, play your best team against Brentford away, and then if we win that, I'm not saying rotate, but give the likes of Salah a break, even if it's for 45 minutes and you have to bring him on. Just give him that little bit of a rest. But yeah, I don't know who our best left forward is. I think Jota's the only one I want to see in the middle. And the other three would be best on the left: Gakpo, Núñez, Diaz. I think he's going to have to rotate it based on the opposition. But for me, I think Diaz and Gakpo are so good when they come on off the bench against tired players and they're not involved in the game as much. So I'd like to see Núñez on the left and Jota through the middle.
I think on form, it's Gakpo, isn't it, at the minute?
Yeah.
Gakpo has been brilliant. Didn't have the greatest of games the other night, in fairness, but again, not many did. But yeah, no, I think on form, it's definitely Gakpo. I think he deserves to be starting. But no, I mean, there's always this talk with Núñez, isn't he? Is he a proper striker? Is he a winger? And you touched on it last time. You know, we bought him when he was playing out left for Benfica. Tore us apart. He got 40 goals that season. Like, so, the fact we've tried to make him this out and out striker, which he's never been, and he doesn't even play like that. He's always dropping deep, similar to Firmino in that sense. The way how much he drops deep to get the ball, he's always wanting to be on the ball. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'd say left side for me at the minute is Gakpo, but yeah, if Núñez is starting, I'd like to see what he can do out on the left. He's got pace to burn. He's not scared to take a man on, even if it doesn't work for him. And again, the one thing you've got to give him credit for is his head never drops. Like, he tries and tries and tries. Like, he never ever stops. So yeah, it wouldn't be a bad shout, I don't think.
I think he got 30 goals assists last season, and a lot of that was down to he was playing out wide and Jota was playing through the middle, and they were rotating. And again, I think Jota came on against Fulham, was it? And he put Núñez on the left, and straight away Núñez to Jota goal. So it's just, I think he's worked up a brilliant relationship with him and Salah, and I think you get the best out of Núñez when they're there because they take a lot of pressure on him having to score the goals. So I think he's quite happy now, not scoring goals. I think if you give him the option to go out wide and put the ball across the box and not have that pressure of having to put the ball in the net, because everyone's judging him on that, then do it. Put him out wide, give him the opportunity. And if it doesn't work there, then you do go, right, listen, we've tried him out wide, hasn't worked. Tried him up front, doesn't work. There's not much more we can do with him. But I think he's at his best when he's playing alongside Jota and Salah. And yeah, as you say, you can't really take Gakpo off the team based on form, but throwing Núñez on for half an hour with them two as well, or any of them, the firepower we've got up front is brilliant, and we've just got to utilise it the best we can.
Yeah. Couple of, I wouldn't call them contentious moments, but certainly the two moments people are talking about from the game. So our goal, Forest fans are saying it should have been disallowed because Gakpo was blocking the keeper off. For me, I mean, you see it every single corner. Like it's a bit of nothing. I don't think he's putting any real pressure on him. He's got his hands extended a little bit, but he's not putting any real pressure on him. He's not actually stopping his movement or anything like that. And I don't think he would have got near the ball anyway, even if he wasn't there. So I just think it's a bit of nothing, really.
Tactical to do it. If he's not holding the keeper and dragging him down physically, if he's standing his ground in his way, that's fine. But done none of the others. So yeah, he stood in front of him and he's made sure he couldn't get around him. That's on the keeper. The keeper wants to rotate around him and go out of position to do it, then so be it. But
and the thing is, like, it annoys me to death. Keepers are the most heavily protected players on the pitch. So if he would have tried to run out to get the ball and just fell over because he's ran into Gakpo, he would have got a foul anyway. So if he wanted the foul, he would have got a foul.
Basically,
not
that, yeah. But there's some teams, I think Arsenal do it. They put a man on the keeper and then have 4 marching in. We've done it to Arsenal in pre-season where you've just got a system. Most teams do try and block the keeper. It's football since football started. It happens. So yeah, try and stop him from catching the ball, and you've got a chance. Happy days.
yeah, spot on. The other one, Salah penalty. I have kind of said I don't. I can see why people are saying it should have been a penalty. I don't believe it was, simply for the fact that if it was down the other end and they were shouting for it and the referee would have given it, I would have been fuming. And that's my only reasoning for saying I'm not 100% sure that it was a penalty personally.
I think if we'd have done that to them the other end, my arse would have went because I'd have thought penalty. He's gone across the player, he's hit him in the thigh, hasn't touched the ball. It's a foul for me. It happens a couple of minutes later outside the box and they give a foul. The exact same thing, cut across the player, hit him in the thigh, player went down, free kick. So for me, if it was consistent, I'd go, yeah, if he didn't give the free kick or he give both, then happy days. But again, it was one of them. It could have been one way or the other. And yeah, I think it was stupid from the defender to put himself at that risk because another referee, I think, could have given it. But I think the referee was poor on the day anyway.
Yeah, he was.
Thought he was
it's one of them, isn't it? You've seen them given, you've seen them not given.
It's contact in the box, and Salah's gone down, but he's had every right to go down because he's going towards goal with the ball, and someone's come across him and hit him in the thigh. So he's felt the contact, went down, not given, nothing we can do about it. But it was 50-50.
Yeah, someone said as well, which might have played into the referee's mind, which it shouldn't do, but it might have done, is that none of our players really claimed for it. Which Salah. Again, except Salah, yeah. Do you think that should play into the referee's mind?
I think it does. I think the occasion of the game as well, and what the game meant to both sets of fans and that. I think if you'd have heard our fans roaring for it and then all the players surrounding the ref and stuff, I think you've seen it in the past. They do flap and give it. But yeah, it's one of them. I think I prefer us to win, honestly. And if the players who were right in front of it didn't think it was a foul, then they've done the right thing, really. But again, you can lose league titles on being honest. So
yeah,
we need to be a little bit more fucking dark in how we get points, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. But I think other than what really discussed, I think the game would kind of just end up running scores. As I say, I think they were desperate to hold on to the 1-0 and then eventually the 1-1. Sells the keeper, just as we know full well always happens against us, just turns into prime pick any keeper from history you want, and that's what he done. But I mean, to be fair to him, he's got the most clean sheets in the league this season, so it's not like it was a one-off from him, in fairness. But yeah, I mean, the amount of chances we had, the quality of chances we were having, you'd expect at least one of them to go in the back of the net, and it was just one of them nights in the end. But as we discussed, like, the first half didn't warrant the win to begin with. So I suppose on paper, draw is probably no, it's not a fair result. I was going to say a draw is a fair result, and it's not even like they dominated us in the first half. We were just awful, and I think then second half we have dominated them.
They probably feel like they've won the lottery with that goal because it was their only attack, and again, because we were nervous, I think every time they got the ball near our box and we knew Alisson weren't at it and, you know, Kanate struggling, I think it made everything feel worse to us as fans. I think neutrals watching that will go away thinking, how the fuck haven't Liverpool scored 6 there and battered them?
Yeah.
Because in the first half, I think they had 4 or 5 shots on goal, all over, none on target. But we got into areas where we could get shots off. You know, another day, one of them goes in, or it's an arse and goes in, or deflection or something. They've had one counter attack, it's gone in. Again, through our own fucking wrongdoing, our own fault. And then the second half was just relentless pressure from us. Like, it got to the 55th, 60th minute, and we turned the gears. We went into gear 5 and we went for them from everything we tried to do. We got in. You know, that defence played brilliant. There was times where I think Szoboszlai got to the right-hand side of the goal twice, doesn't even look up, just tries to hit it across goal, gets blocked. The one time he should have passed his shot. I think he just had a poor game, but he was influential in our attacking in the second half. He turned up, he was pressing like we know he can. He was trying to win the ball back, and he played a lot better in the second half. But yeah, we come away from that grateful for a draw, but we should have won, and it's disappointing that we didn't win. But we only feel like a draw is enough because of how shit we were the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got a good chance to turn it around Saturday. 3 o'clock game, which is rare for us in its own right. But yeah, Brentford away, never an easy game. I don't think we've had the best time going there. I think we've only won once that I can recall anyway. So yeah, it's obviously going to be a tough game. We had a look at the form before we started here, and I mean the form isn't good. So one of two things that are going to happen: we're going to put 6 past them, or they're going to 1-0 us. Like, there's no other outcome I see other than that, because that's just the way it goes. Now they've won 1 in I think the last 9, I think it was. So they got beat. They beat Southampton, which this season isn't really adding to your form. Let's be honest. Unfortunately, the way they're playing, 6 points bottom of the league, it's not really an achievement. Losing to Plymouth in the FA Cup, who I think are bottom of the Championship, and then obviously I don't know who did they play. City come back, got a good draw against City. In fairness to them, so.
I mean, come on, man. Sorry.
Just going to say, they've got some really good players. I think up front, Johan Vissé, they've got Embuemo. I think them two are the 2 main ones you got to stop. I think Damsgaard and bit further behind him, he's a good player. So they've got good players, but on the form they're in, I'd like to think we should be beating them.
Yeah, I think they've got a good manager, good players, pretty good fans. When the stadium gets going, it gets going. We've got enough firepower to beat them easy, but it just depends what Liverpool turns up. It is becoming to that point where we're playing 30 or 40 minutes a week instead of 90. We're turning up for a little bit of a game, and it's not damaging too much at the moment, but eventually it is going in. So we need to start picking points up. I think, as you say, we could go there and absolutely blatter them. The form they're in, yeah, they've lost to Plymouth, they've lost to Newcastle. They've put a lot of effort in against Man City to get that draw. So hopefully they've got tired legs going into the game against us. Equally, we might have a few tired legs because we put a fucking shift in against Forest. So it's going to just be a case of the best team on the day wins, and hopefully it's us. But we've got to win. Like, I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm not going to say, oh, we played shit the first half, so 1-1's good. It's a Brentford we should be beating away from home to win a league. So yeah, it's got to be 3 wins out the next 3 to have a chance of the league title for me.
Yeah, I mean, these are the games where the players have got to stand up and be counted. We can't afford to be dropping any more points. City obviously dropped more points midweek. Chelsea dropped points midweek. Obviously Forest, because they played those drop points. Tottenham obviously done a Spurs and lost that from a winning position against Arsenal. So they're only 4 points behind us now. Obviously, we've still got the game in hand. But again, that game in hand, now it's been rescheduled, has fallen in a really busy period for us. Not that it ever was going to be any other way, but sandwiched in between the game against Plymouth and the game against Tottenham, I think it is. So yeah, it's coming at a really busy time for us. So And let's be honest, it's a derby. They've just got David Moyes back. He knows how to get Goodison fucking rocking for the derby, the horrible Gollum looking twat.
He couldn't
so
do it for that, so.
Yeah, no, but you know, it's not going to be an easy game, is it? Let's be honest. So,
You never know, lads. Again, it just depends. If Liverpool turn up against anyone, we can batter anyone. We can batter the big teams as well, like we've shown. But we're just so reserved in our style of play at the moment. It's not even how like final played. They were a lot more going for it. They went for it a lot more than us. Again, it's a case of he hasn't really got his own players or his own like fucking thing going yet. I think he's been a bit reserved until he's 100% sure on what he's going to do. But I say, lad, you can't. If we win every game now, boring 1-0 till the end of the season, you couldn't care less, could you? So
no.
I just want to see us be a little bit more brave in the first half and try and kill the game in the first half. And the games against the likes of Brentford and that are the games we should be doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Few bits of other news, I suppose, that have sort of been online last couple of days. I think there's been a couple of bits today. Trent saying that he hasn't agreed a pre-contract agreement with Madrid, which has been the latest report.
He hasn't.
He hasn't. No, is what's being reported now. There's basically an offer on the table. This is what I don't get. There's a proper weird one going around that Salah is signed with Saudi, but is waiting to be told who he's going to be playing for. So yeah, it's like the world's worst fucking version of Bullseye or something. Have a look what you could have won. Mad rumor. I don't understand that whatsoever. I know obviously it's because a lot of the teams are owned by the Saudi investment fund, whatever it's called. I get that, but it's like, surely to God, you can't just go, right, get your negotiation with the country and then we'll just tell you where to go. Like, it's not that kind of job. It doesn't work like that.
I'd be bounded if he went to Saudi. I'd understand
So
if he went to Madrid, Barcelona, anyone, because he's capable of starting for most teams still in the world. I think he respects himself too much to go over there and play in a shit league. So he's in the peak of his ability, peak of fitness. He's unbelievable. So if he's not going to sign for Liverpool, I hope he goes to a fucking really good side where he can prosper and win stuff.
Yeah, it's no, I can't see him at Saudi. In all honesty, he doesn't seem like that's the type of thing that motivates him. I don't think he's the type of person that is thinking, right, he wants to win things. He wants to win the highest honors. He doesn't want to go and get, don't know why he wouldn't like, but he doesn't want to go and get $1.5 million a week or whatever he could get over in Saudi. Not yet anyway. Like, we could get another 2-3 years out of him and then he'd still be able to go to Saudi and be the best player in the league there. So that door's never going to close for him. I don't think, as long as he's still a professional footballer, that door's not going to close. So I give it a bit of time. But we've got to get something done soon. Like, I know I said the other day, I'm confident that at least Van Dijk and Salah are going to sign, and I still am, in all honesty. But the longer it goes on, obviously, the more that kind of dissipates a bit. You know what I mean? I am still confident at the moment, but we get to the end of this window and it's not done. Then you start thinking to yourself, right, okay, what the fuck's going on here? So we've got to get something done.
Best in signing anyone this window. Our whole team, as the work's got to be put into getting them contracts sorted in January. That should be, if we're not signing anyone, then put all your fucking efforts into getting them players signed and getting them on decent deals. But I'm not confident with any of them, I'll be honest. I'm really not. I just think whatever's happening, whoever's in charge of these decisions, I think has fucked it. I'll be honest. I'm not happy.
No, I'm not happy that it's got to this stage. I'm not, and I don't think anybody in the right mind would be. But I think just because how vocal they've been about wanting to stay, it's the only thing giving me confidence that they will stay. I think if they'd have been more like Trent about it, then I'd be shitting myself about it. And I was saying this to me dad last night. He was saying, you don't know what Salah's asking for. And so I said, say for instance, he's asking for 100 grand more than he's currently on. That takes him to, say, 60 mil over the course of a 2-year contract. Who are you buying for 60 mil to replace him? You're not.
Exactly. The only problem is the wage structure they have, and they have they have a structure and they're not going to break that for anyone. And we've seen that with the likes of Wijnaldum and that when they got to 31, they were gone. They wanted to stay. Klopp wanted them to stay.
Yeah.
He was gone.
With all due respect to Wijnaldum, no, he wasn't a Van Dijk or a Salah.
But to be fair, lad, he was influential in our
He was very influential. I loved Gini Wijnaldum.
We didn't replace him. We still haven't replaced Wijnaldum. Still haven't got a player who can do what Wijnaldum could do. So, as inability-wise and stature-wise, he wasn't a Salah or a Van Dijk. But in terms of how he made the machine work, he was as vital as any of them. And we still haven't replaced it. But
and
again,
this is you saying that you never used to like him.
I didn't really see what he offered until he went, and that's what the best players can do. Because he wasn't like getting loads of goals and loads of assists, but when you see him not there, you're like, fucking hell, he plugged some gaps in, he worked so hard. Our defence couldn't live without him for a year. We were fucking goosed. So, yeah, it's one of them. I think the contracts have got to be put before any new signings, get them done, and then if there's time, try and do a bit of business as well. But, yeah, it's dragging on and on, lad. As I say, I've accepted that Seth mightn't be here, so be it. But the other two, we've got to get done.
Yeah. To be honest with you, lad, I think at the way it's gone here, like, you know, if FSG, I know FSG aren't involved in it this time around, it's obviously Edwards and it's Richard Hughes. But surely everybody's got to be looking at Richard Hughes now and going, look, even if you get these sorted, like your fucking job's on the line here because you haven't done what we've brought you in to do whatsoever. As I said last time, we're trying to get you're seeing rumours of reports coming out that Kanate is due to sign a new deal. It's like, great, fantastic, yeah. His contract isn't about to run out. Leave him alone for now. Go away. Sort the very fucking pressing ones out. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they go a different way than him in the summer, even if the contracts, all three of them, get sorted, to be honest with you.
I say we've seen him in the summer time to do business, and that hasn't gone to plan. Current contract situations are just shambolic, really. That they should be getting worked on with like at least 9 to 12 months left on the contract. Extend it. We're at the point we're not even extending the contract. We're going to be offering them a new contract because they're going to be out of contract when they sign it.
Yeah.
It's fucking pathetic. But if in any other walk of life, like say for instance you were the owner of a business, so I was going to lose my best spark and I had someone to make sure he, have a word with him, get him signed up, get it sorted. But he's speaking to other spark firms and he's going to cost me loads of money because he's going for free. I'd be on the phone as the boss saying to the fella, listen, what are you doing with him? He's fucking that close to being gone. Get sorted, tie it up now. That's where the owners have got to come in. The owners have got to go. That they're assets to our club, whether they like it or not, whether we like it or not. They're fucking massive assets to the club. Why the fuck are they going for nothing soon? That's on you. Get it sorted. And that the owners have got to give him a deadline. Get it done or you're gone and we'll get someone else in to do it. Because that's the way it is.
Well, no, they've got to be looking at them and going, like, as people online like to say, all FSG care about is lining the pockets. They're not going to line the pockets any better with them by keeping Salah and Van Dijk at the club. That are two of our most global faces, if you like. They're the biggest global superstars at the club. Salah's on buildings all across the fucking world. You've got to keep them. If all they really care about is lining the pockets, you've got to spend a bit of money to carry on lining the fucking pockets.
I agree, yeah. It just makes no sense from a business point of view or a football point of view to let any players like that. Now, obviously, people will argue that we've got a budget and the budget's given by the owners. But, again, if Hughes and Edwards have got to go to them and say, listen, that's not enough. That budget's not big enough. So there's got to be discussions within the club before we go back to these players and make a show of ourselves. Just fucking, that's how much they want. Can we give them it? If they say no, then if I was Hughes and Edwards, I'd say, listen, we've asked to give them this money and the owners haven't let us, and I'd throw them under the bus. But one way or the other, if these contracts don't get done, someone's getting sacked or someone's getting thrown under the bus. And then
it's as simple as that. I think you've hit the nail on the head.
I feel like a fairy tale, lad. I feel like they're waiting for like the fucking last day of the season or something. And then we've signed these three and it's a big bonus. And then like the summer comes and we mightn't sign anyone. So we're all buzzing. We've kept our players. And shit like that. But that's not how
Like,
it works.
I don't know what they're expecting. Like, lift the league title up if we win it, take the lid off it, and there's just contracts inside the trophy. Have a sign of them, lads.
I know, do you know what I mean? But again, I think the closer you get to success, sometimes it's bad to win, because I think the Salah and Van Dijk and at their age, and Trent being a local lad, listen, we've won everything and then we've won bits again. Like, is it time to move on? Shall I go and have a new challenge now? So we're best getting them now while they're a bit vulnerable, while it's not secured, while it's not guaranteed, and just get the job done, get them fucking signed.
Yeah.
But it's gonna drag on, innit? It's always
it always does.
anything fucking clever or easy or logical. It's always fucking stupid, but that's the way it is. That's why we're all panicky and on edge all the time, and we enjoy as much success as we do because we're fucking backwards.
Yeah. The other bit of little news I've seen today, I don't know if you've seen it yourself, it's only come out recently, but the documentary, the one that we're still waiting to see, is now getting changed to, rather than it being focused on the last season, it's now just going to be a retrospective of Jurgen Klopp's time at the club. And I can't help but think they even might have seen our video, because it's almost like they copied that idea from someone. But no, yeah, I think after the way last season ended and how it kind of just ended with a bit of a whimper, looking back, doing a retrospective of his career is probably the right move, and would explain the delay in it being released.
Yeah, again, no real Liverpool fan wants to see that footage coming out of us struggling near the end of the season and that. So yeah, to make it all about Klopp, again, it'd be great to see the footage of Klopp inside and bits we haven't seen before. That'd be brilliant. But to show the results in the season, that fucking been all that footage. But as we know, whoever was doing the documentary are aware of our podcast, so
yeah,
he might have picked a little bit of something up off the one you built, lad, and that's credit to you. Fair play.
Yeah, I guess so. It's one way to look at it. One thing I did want to ask you about as well, completely unrelated to Liverpool, but football related nonetheless. Match of the day. Hosts have been announced now for next season. Kelly Cates, Mark Chapman, Gabby Logan sharing hosting duties between the three of them over the different shows, the Match of Day 2, and the Champions League Match of the Day. There's been a lot of comments from people who, are really upset that they've never played football before at the top level in the men's game. Same type of people who are fuming that Jeff Stelling isn't on the telly anymore. Or miss Des Lynam, who had a really great career at the top level of the game. I think he was a goalie. But no, I think the three of them, between them, sharing the duties, I think they're great. I think all three of them are very, very good at what they do. And I think it's the right move for them from Match of the Day, to be honest.
Has Joey Barton killed himself, yeah? Or has he accepted it? Absolutely. I think Kelly Cates and Gabby Logan are absolutely fucking brilliant at what they do. So I've been to interviews with Kelly where she's interviewed her own dad and other people, and you wouldn't know she had any connection to the club. You wouldn't know she had any connection to Kenny Dalglish when she done that interview with him at the Echo Arena, and she's just brilliant. She's just brilliant. She's so unbiased, if you want, and she gets answers out of people that I don't think some would. She approaches situations in a certain way where she just gets people talking, and I think she's boss. She dissects the game well, and she hosts brilliantly. So again, it's I don't think you're going to get anyone better, really. It could have ended up with Jermaine Jennings or Michael Owen or Joe Cole or someone who's just shite. So
yeah,
better to go with people who know the job. And yeah, happy days. It's got to be completely different without Lineker, because he is Match of the Day for me. He's been on Match of the Day since I can remember. So
yeah,
it's going to be. It's. I don't know who's going to be on it with them. Is the likes of Sheeran that's still on it?
Yeah. So I think that's what people are misunderstanding with it, because they've announced 3 hosts. I think people are just assuming, right, it's just going to be them 3 on it and no one else. But it's not. It's like, Kelly Cates will present Match of the Day, and you'll have Ian. Well, maybe not Ian, right, because he's not on BBC anymore. But you'll have Alan Shearer and you'll have Danny Murphy, hopefully not, or you'll have whoever, Mick Richards, whoever's on there. You'll still have the pundits.
You'll have one host and a few pundits.
Yeah, it's not going to be any different than. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be any different than what we're seeing now, except it's just going to be a different host well, maybe not every week, but it's just going to be a different host and not Gary Lineker. Like, I just don't see what the big need to kick up a fuss is. It's like the three of the best presenters that you can get. And, Gary Lineker was in that position where he happened to be a great player and he happened to be a great host. If he was just a great host, he still would have got the job.
Yeah,
But it just so happens that he was both. Like, it's just one of them things. He was very fortunate in that manner. But these three are very good hosts, and that's all they need to be. So yeah, I think it's a good decision.
And they're also, without disrespect, that they're not pushing like women's games the same as the men's game and the same quality and the same ability and all that shit. They just dead honest that this is the men's game, that's the women's game, that's fine. So yeah, it makes no difference to me. I don't like having any pundits who are shit at footy who are trying to dissect world class players and analyse brilliant players, whether they're male or female. Doesn't ask me. If they can talk about the game in a good manner and make it understandable and enjoyable and have a bit of character about them, then it doesn't matter where they're from, who they are, whether they've got long hair, short hair, balls or not. You know what I mean? It doesn't make a blind bit of difference. If they can do the job well and they can dissect the game well, then it's happy days. Unfortunately, for equality rights, there's too many who are shite, who shouldn't be on the telly and shouldn't be analysing games of football, but that's from male and female. There's loads of both. So, yeah. Another long-winded reply.
Wouldn't expect any less. Wouldn't expect anything different. But look, we are going to wrap it up there for today. We'll do our best to get one in after the Brentford game. I go to Dubai on Wednesday, only till the Sunday, so it's not going to be too much that we miss out of it. But obviously we've got the Champions League game Tuesday as well. So yeah, if we can get one in just in time in the middle of those two games, then we will. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, fun as always. If you are watching on YouTube, again, as always, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening to, please do drop us a rating on there. And whatever you need to do, because it boosts us up those charts. And until next time, up the fucking Reds.
4-0 Saturday, up the Reds.
Already said it.